Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right, folks, we are 1 month into the season, officially 1 month into the year, and your New York Yankees, your New York baseball Yankees are 17-11 overall. That's a win percentage over 600. They're in first place by 2 games, and their magic number is 132 for those who are keeping track here on April 20, whatever it is, April 28th. It's Monday morning as I'm recording. The Yankees have just took 2 out of 3 at home against the Toronto Blue Jays. They dropped that first game, which will be a big talking point in this episode. But then they went on to sweep the doubleheader on Sunday. So that was fun. Which I always love how Kay never forgets to bring up, and I'm not being sarcastic here, the fact that like the whole sweeping a doubleheader is so difficult to do, how that's such a fake narrative. It's basically 50-50. So when people use that as an excuse, it always bothered me. So it was nice for the Yankees to sweep them and get them away with. So we're going to talk about it. This is an audio-only episode. I just don't have the time today to fully sit down and record in video, and so it might be a shorter episode. We'll see, but definitely audio-only here. It obviously still will be up on all platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. But let's get into it. Let's start with Friday's game. On Friday, the Yankees ended up losing this one 4-2. You had Carlos Carrasco taking on Jose Berrios. Carlos Carrasco pitched a nice game. 5 innings, no runs, 3 hits, couple of walks, 2 strikeouts, 67 pitches, no decision. I like that Boone pulled Carrasco, even if the pitch count was in good shape. Carrasco's a guy at this point, at this stage in his career, he is not a guy you want to going out there facing the batting order the third time through, because his stuff's simply not good enough to get away with that. So I had no issue with that, and then going to the pen from there. Tim Hill does issue the home run, though, to Vlad Jr., solo shot in the 6th to make it 1-0 Toronto at the time. That decision was a bit odd to me. Obviously Tim Hill's been good, but I thought it was a weird decision to go to him when you have the righty Ian Hamilton warm. It's like, why go to your lefty specialist with a righty ready, and you have a 3 righty lane for Toronto coming up with, Vlad and a couple of other right-handed bats, and then Hamilton eventually comes out the next inning in relief. 2/3 no runs. It was Cruz after that, a clean inning. But that was really the only question there in terms of the pitching staff. The bats for the Yankees produced just 2 runs on 10 hits. No home runs in this game. Can't win if you don't homer. 4 walks, 6 strikeouts. They go 1 for 9 in scoring position. Stole no bases. They were caught 2 times. Bottom 7, the Yanks are down 1-0. They tie the game on the Cabrera RBI base hit from the right side of the plate. It was against the lefty Little. Bottom 8, you get the Austin Wells sac fly. It's 2-1 Yankees, and that was your offense. Wells goes 2 for 3. Belly goes 2 for 3, a walk, a double. Jazz goes 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. Volpe goes 1 for 3, doubles. He was hit by a pitch. Rice goes 1 for 5 with a double. Cabrera goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. Devin Williams comes in the 9th, and he blows the game there with a 2-1 lead. Gives up the 2-run double to Kirk to make it 3-2 Toronto at the time. We'll talk more on Devin Williams later, obviously. Mark Leiter allows the inherited runner to score, and so the Yankees lose 4-2. That was on Friday. You get to the doubleheader. Sunday, the first game of the doubleheader, second game of the series. The Yankees, they win 11-2 yesterday. You had Max Fried against the righty Gaussman. Fried goes 6 more solid. We'll talk about him later, too. The Bats produce 11 runs on 12 hits, 7 extra base hits. They drew 8 walks, struck out 10 times, and they were 5 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Bottom 3, the Yanks are down 1-0. Bellinger sac fly, Jazz and Volpe with a couple of RBI walks, and then Wells with a 3-run double to clear the bases there to make it 6-1 Yankees. Just missed a home run. It was off the top of the wall. But yeah, they get 6 runs on Kevin Gausman in 2 2/3. Gausman's a good pitcher. I thought they were going to have trouble with his splitter. They did a really nice job of spitting on it, laying off it. They were ready for it, and it wasn't working. Gausman was just walking the entire park. It was an interesting decision by whatever his name is to leave him in the game for so long after throwing 50-something pitches there in the 3rd inning. He walks everybody. Yankees get a couple of hits, sac fly, double there. Finally pulls him, and then he gets ejected, and then he trips on his way out. Bottom 5, Volpe with a home run, Cabrera with a 2-run double. Bottom 6, Goldschmidt, 2-run double in the opposite field gap, or an RBI double, I should say, 1 run. That made it 10-1 Yankees, though. So Goldie goes 2 for 4, double, walk, RBI. Bellinger 1 for 3, double, sac fly, walk, RBI. Judge 2 for 4, Jazz 1 for 4, walk, 2 RBIs. Volpe 2 for 3. We'll talk on him later. Wells goes 2 for 5, couple doubles, 3 RBIs. He did miss a couple of balls in the dirt. Cabrera, who went 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBIs, had a bad throw in the first inning. Dominguez goes 0 for 3, couple of walks. This series, he did misread a couple of fly balls that I thought he should have got to. Not misread, but he was too conservative coming in on them. And so he continues to struggle in left field, although it's not anything that's really loud right now. The bullpen in this game, it was De Los Santos, not that guy, the other guy, just a random De Los Santos, not the one from last year. They called him up for, obviously, the doubleheader as the 27th man. He does his job, and then Tyler Matzek returned. Did not look great. He was rusty for sure, but it's nice to have him back, to have another lefty in the pen there. And that was your game 1 of the doubleheader of the Yankees. Again, win this one 11-2. In the final game of the series, the second of the doubleheader, the Yankees win over Toronto 5-1 last night. You had Clark Schmidt going up against Bassett. Clark Schmidt goes 5 strong, 1 run, 1 hit, walks 4, strikes out 6. So the good here is that he continues to get a lot of swing and miss. A lot of guys whiffing, a lot of strikeouts. That's continued from last year. So hopefully that's a trend that we continue to see. That was the thing. I thought he should have got more swing and miss in the past. But he's finally tapping into his stuff a little bit more. Been more effective against lefties. And you're starting to see the swing and miss as a whole pick up, and he's racking more strikeouts up. Still a lot of 3-ball counts, a lot of walks, trouble finishing off batters sometimes, and that's leading to these outings where he's good, not great, right? That's been the big problem in Clark Schmidt's career, is that he's just not been able to really take that next step yet in his development, and that's because he's not efficient enough. I like the stuff. The Yankees love the spin. They love the movement. But sometimes it's just he's not getting chases a lot. And when you don't get chases, you're going to be in deep counts consistently. So it's a stuff thing more than it is anything else at the end of the day. But 5 strong. The bats, 5 runs on 9 hits, 3 home runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. They go 2 for 6 in scoring position. Bottom first, Trent Grisham leadoff home run. Bottom 6 in a tie game, Judge goes deep. Dominguez doubles. Escara singles. It's 4-1 Yankees. Bottom of the 8th, Escara picks up his first major league home run to make it 5-1. He goes 2 for 4 with the home run and a couple of RBIs. Dominguez goes 2 for 4, double and an RBI. Volpe with a couple of hits. Grisham goes 1 for 2, the home run, 2 walks, an RBI. And so against Chris Bassett, the Yankees get 4 on him in 5 2/3. So it was a nice job against a pitcher who has been really good this year. The bullpen, it was Hill to Leiter to Cruz to Weaver. They all pitch 4 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts as a unit. And so that might be your new formula, right? Weaver as your 9th inning man. I thought Leiter was really sharp. Going with his first pitch curveballs. The fastball had more velo to it than usual. And then when you pair that fastball at 95 with a splitter, that's such a tough to hit sequence. So he continues to look strong. Nice bounce back for him. Weaver looked excellent. And I think that's where we're going to transition here and start this episode off by talking about this whole closer situation. I don't know, man. Devin Williams, it's an issue, obviously. And for now, it's been put aside, And first of all, I should start with anybody who's been blaming Aaron Boone for putting Devin Williams in these games. I think you're a little out of your mind. I shouldn't have to say it again. This is an elite closer with an elite track record who was brought in here to be their closer because he's far and away entering the season was their best option. So I'm not blaming him for sticking with him. If anything, you should give him credit for making this move so early in the season. I mean, we're talking about this on April 28th. And the fact that he's not waiting so long and, in the past he would have been so hell-bent on sticking with his closer. You got to give him credit for that. But as far as Devin Williams himself goes, yeah. I tried giving him the benefit of the doubt for as long as I could. I'm done. I'm done. I mean, you put him into a game where this was a game where the Yankees, their worst players on the team were producing. You were getting production from Bellinger. You were getting from production from Wells, from Jazz, from Volpe. Those 4 guys went 6 for 11 with 3 walks. And then you got on the other end, Carrasco gives you 5 shutout innings against a lineup that might be struggling, but it's pretty potent. Pretty potent. And then your closer, who's supposed to be this shutdown guy, comes in and he wastes it all in his most uncompetitive outing yet. And that's been a problem. He's had a couple of outings where, yes, he'd given up runs, but, some soft contact bullshit. This was just completely uncompetitive. He faced 3 batters. He got 0 outs. Right? He is behind 3-1 to George Springer, and he surrenders a base hit. He hits Jimenez with the pitch, and then he issues the game-tying double when he hangs a screwball to Alejandro Kirk. Just like that, get the hell off the mound. His fastball location has been poor, to say the least, which makes his screwball less effective. And it's been getting hit because guys are just sitting on that pitch. He's not getting swing and miss with the screwball because his fastball location has been off. And so with that adjustment that the league has made, he's not been able to adjust back. He can't get to his screwball because he's not commanding his fastball. He's always behind in the count. So what that says to me is maybe start mixing in your tertiary. Go to your cutter more. Go to your slider more. Bring that back. We haven't seen that this season. But this 2-pitch combo where he's got fastball, changeup, it's not working for him. So whenever it is we do see Devin Williams again, I would like to see him try to lean into the cutter or the slider more. Get a breaking ball that can go in the other direction, into lefties, away from righties. And maybe that can help him get back on track. But it could be deeper. Like, it could be mental. Like I mentioned this last episode, the body language has been awful. It doesn't look like Devin Williams wants to be here. He's kicking the dirt. He's got this bitch face on the mound. His interviews suck. I don't want to say it yet, but it certainly looks like it. I mean, the guy comes here the first day on the job, and he's running around the place like, we need to start changing things around here. Like, imagine saying that. That's crazy. They changed the facial hair policy for this guy, and he still comes here, and he just doesn't seem like he's interested in this whole thing. Now, I don't know if that's just him. I don't know any Milwaukee Brewer fans. I don't know if anybody does, but I watched his interviews. His interview a few weeks ago when they asked him about, hey man, your metrics are down. What's the reason for that? And he's all arrogant in his response. He's like, what metrics? What metrics? And then on Friday, they ask him about the "We Want Weaver" chants. And he goes, everybody's entitled to their opinion, which I'm not going to get on him for that, but you could have went the Giancarlo Stanton route. I'd boo me too. Endear yourselves to the fans a little bit. I don't know. And the whole Weaver thing, the chants, we're fans. We're not cheerleaders, okay? This is accountability. That's how that works. The fans are the ones who pay for these overpriced tickets. They deserve a lot more. It's always been the Bronx Zoo. You don't like it? Go to Queens. Do you want to hand out participation trophies? Go be a fan of the Phillies. I'm not even going to talk about that. I think that's ridiculous to get offended at. We want Luke Weaver chants. Whatever. Stop being a pussy. These guys are making millions of bucks. They'll be okay. But I do think it's time. Unfortunately, the Yankees did make the move. We'll see what his role is. Is he demoted to mop-up duty like Clay Holmes first was when they did it to him last year? Is he first in relief when they're down 3 runs in the 6th inning? Up 5 runs in the 6th inning. But yeah, you could tell by the interview after the game that Boom was pretty set on making the move, making the change. Usually he's going to default to backing his guys 1,000%. He's our guy. That's crazy to ask on the 28th of April. He goes, we'll see. And he said a couple of other things. So it was pretty obvious that he was going to make the change after hearing him. Yeah, but it's bad. It's bad. No wonder why the Brewers gave him to the Yankees for free. Now we get it. Something was up. That postseason in the LCS or LDS there might have ruined him. But it was certainly nice to see Luke Weaver thrive in his first day back at closer yesterday. He gets George Springer. He starts George Springer with back-to-back cutters outside. Rarely uses that pitch. So it was nice to see him leaning into that. He gets him a fly out eventually on a third pitch changeup. And then Jimenez steps up to the plate. He goes 2 4-seamers, middle of the plate at 95. He doesn't touch him. Then he fools him with a changeup for a strikeout, gets him to foul tip it. And then against Wagner, he flies out to center field off of Luke Weaver's changeup. So, pretty easy inning for him. Luke Weaver's a guy who has the stuff for the job. He doesn't have the stuff that Devin Williams does. It's not elite, but he's got a hard enough fastball with a great changeup to neutralize lefties with. And I would like to see him continue to go to that cutter. really against both lefties and righties. But he's got the experience for the job. Obviously, he did this in the World Series. And honestly, he might be in that role all year. Like, what are the odds that the Yankees change it back if Weaver's the one who has the job right now? It's Luke Weaver. Do you really see them taking him off that role after giving it to him again? I would say, like, there's a really good shot if Luke Weaver continues to put up good numbers for the Yankees, as most of us expect him to do, all of us expect him to do. I don't know that Devin Williams, even if he pitches well, is going back to that role. So credit to the Yankees again for making this change this early. I should add that Devin Williams is certainly right about one thing. When he was bitching to the media the other day, the Yankees, and this is not his quote, but he brought it up, how maybe it's not enough workload or something like that. The Yankees need to stop ignoring their relief pitchers in spring training. They rarely go to their relievers in the spring, and I think that's very detrimental. I think you need to build them up, and you already know someone like Devin Williams is a slow starter in the month of April. Why would you not want to give him work in March, in February? I think that's a little nuts. And so I think that could be playing a role as to why he's been so bad early on. But yeah, outside of Devin Williams, like the bullpen and the rotation too, the pitching's been filthy, right? I mean, you go to the bullpen, Tim Hill has been consistent. Ian Hamilton has been getting better. Mark Leiter has been great. Luke Weaver has still not allowed an earned run or a run, knock on wood. Fernando Cruz. Cruz has been fantastic. And that's who I want to hand the game I want to tip my cap to start off here. Because I think Fernando Cruz continues to just shove for this team. This series, 2 innings, no runs, couple of hits, couple of strikeouts, 35 pitches needed. He pitched in game 1 on the 25th, Friday, and then he pitched yesterday in the second game of the doubleheader there. He's got a 1.80 ERA on the year, a .93 whip, 15 innings, 23 strikeouts to lead baseball. Been awesome. 4 holds, couple of saves. Scoreless outing on Friday. Last night in the 8th inning, 2 strikeouts in a scoreless frame. You know, he goes low and away forkball to Rodin for a ground out. He's behind 2-0 to Bo Bichette, but he drops in a sinker for a strike, and then he goes 2 forkballs low in the zone for 2 swings and misses, strike 3 swinging. Then he goes to, it's Santander who steps up to the plate. 8-pitch battle to him. You know, he's behind in a 3-0 count, drops in a 4-seam for a called strike. I think he got the benefit of the doubt there. But then he goes 3 forkballs that were all fouled off, and then he goes forkball high and out for a swing and miss. I mean, he's making these guys look silly. Big names, too. You know, Santander, Bichette, did it to Bobby Witt, you know, did it to Jose Ramirez, did it to Steven Kwan, an elite contact hitter. Like, he's doing it to guys who just know how to hit. So, you know, if you picked him as a breakout candidate, yeah. Matt Blake can tap into these guys pretty well, and I think Fernando Cruz was a mistake to let go of if you're Cincy. But it's early. I know that. But, like, the Yankees turned Jose Trevino into Fernando Cruz, and I think that's crazy. I think they definitely found something. Is he going to pitch to a 190 all year? Probably not. But can he have a career season? I think most definitely. So this is the 3rd time we're tipping our cap to him this season, and he's deserved it. But, yeah, the rotation's been good, too. And for that reason, I'm going to start by tipping my cap to Max Fried, who in Game 2 of this series, the first game of yesterday, goes 6 innings, 1 run, 3 strikeouts, 6 hits, 2 walks. And he gets the win. It's his 5th cap tip of the year. He's been far and away their best pitcher. And that's with Rodon having a solid start. But what I love is that he has stepped up and been their quote-unquote stopper. right? Every time the Yankees lose a game or if they're on a losing streak, he steps up to the mound the next day, picks up a win for you. The Yankees are 5-0 after a loss when he takes the mound. They're 6-0. 6-0 overall, I believe, when he pitches. And yesterday he wasn't even on his game. He struggled in the first inning. He puts 8 guys on base in 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks. He strikes out only 3 batters in 6 innings. So, he wasn't good to his standards, and he still goes 6 innings, 1 run. That's a legitimate ace, and he has solidified that. He finds ways to get outs, and he's diving into his pitch mix and getting a ton of ground balls with the 4-seam fastball. A lot of ground balls to the left side of the field. His fastball run value this season is in the 98th percentile. The 4-seamer's working. He's getting a lot of whiffs with his 2-seamer. Yesterday, he got a lot of swing and miss with it. And, of course, he's diving into his off-speed pitches. Got a lot of whiffs with the sweeper yesterday. A lot of soft contact with that pitch. Same thing with a changeup, inducing some soft contact yesterday. Didn't go to the curveball as much, but he was dropping it in for strikes to right-handed hitters. Backdoor. But continues to just attack the zone, and just induce ground balls. And he can obviously field his position. So, Max Fried with a 1.43 ERA on the season through 6 starts. So, he is probably in the lead for early American League Cy Young candidates. And I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up winning one with this team. So yeah, I'll go to the other side of the diamond here. Obviously Aaron Judge continuing to do his thing. Nice to see him hit a homer yesterday. Obviously Paul Goldschmidt continuing to just rake hit after hit. But you're getting some life. You're starting to see a little more life from some of these slumping Yankees, right? A lot of these guys have been getting on base lately. Bellinger's been getting on base a little more. Martian's been getting on base. Jazz Chisholm has been getting on base and producing some runs lately, as has Austin Wells. Cabrera's getting on base with single after single after single. He's been really good from the 9-hole. He's playing bad third base. That's something to watch for. The arm isn't looking good, but he's been hitting. Volpe has been getting on base lately. And this is all important, right? Because Ben Rice and Paul Goldschmidt and Trent Grisham even, they're not going to bat like MVPs forever. Obviously Judge is, but those 3 guys, I'm not saying they'll have bad seasons, but right now Goldie's close to 400. Rice is starting to come down to earth a little bit. Trent Grisham has the same amount of home runs as Judge, or he did entering the second game of the set. So soon they're going to need some help from these guys at the bottom of the order, right? This lineup is supposed to be deep. Their strength without number 22, last year's number 22, is supposed to be depth. And so it's nice to see some of these guys coming through. Bellinger, entering before the second game of the doubleheader yesterday, where he was 0 for 4, in his last 6 entering then, he had 6 hits, 3 walks, a couple of doubles, a stolen base. So that's a 346 on base, a 500 slug. And I still think he'll figure it out to some degree. He's got a track record. He's got a good 2-strike approach. I do worry about some of the power. He's not hitting the ball super hard. All the peripherals are below average right now. I just hope he has enough pop in the bat, because they got him to be this lefty masher who abuses the short porch. Is there enough there to where he can amount to 25 or close to that home runs for the Yankees? What's he got, 2, 1 right now? So that's really my only concern there. But I do think he'll figure it out and have an average season at worst. I don't think he'll be bad like this forever. Jazz Chisholm, entered that Cleveland Guardians series with a slash line all the way down to 157, 653. Well, he started to slowly figure things out. Now the numbers are still not good, but they have taken a bit of a leap because in his last 6 games, he's batting .278 with a .462 on base, a .444 slug, which means his OPS is sitting at .906 in the last 6 games with 5 RBIs. But what I really like is that during that span, his walk rate is 27%. And over the last 17 games played for Jazz, his walk rate is 19%. The fact that he's taking his walks is huge because that's been a big problem for him in the past. Obviously, his approach, he's going to swing, he's going to miss a lot. But the fact that he's still taking walks, getting on base, the league average walk rate usually sits around 8 or 9%. So he's doubling and tripling that. So like that's good. That's usually an indicator that a guy is seeing the ball well and he'll eventually find it. And so hopefully this is that. Austin Wells in his last 3 games, 5 hits, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs. Hard hits, line drives, the power's back. He's still not walking. He's chasing more than we usually see him chase. But I do like what I see from him lately, and it looks like he's coming around. And those numbers are getting back to respectability for what a catcher, looks like. Oswaldo Cabrera. He's been pretty consistent all year with the base knocks. On the season, he's batting .278, 350 on base, a 102 OPS plus. Again, I know third base is a power hitter's position, but if I asked you before the season began, would you take these numbers from Oswaldo Cabrera 1 month in? I think everybody would say yes, of course. He's squaring up the ball well, finding the sweet spot on the bat, not chasing a ton outside the zone. And he's back to switch hitting, where he's actually been better from the right side of the plate. This season, right on left, he's got a .962 OPS in a 14 plate appearance sample, but he had a hit to or is it today or not today? He had a hit this series, I think, from the right side of the plate. I think it was on Friday. He had that double, or maybe it was a big single that he shot the other way with to tie the game. So that's good. Jason Dominguez. First of all, he continues to flash his speed. I always find a way to mention this every episode. I mean, he went first to home on a single again yesterday. The hustle that he has on the bases is really, really admirable. But I like that he continues to hit breaking balls. Am I still on Fried? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. He continues to hit breaking balls. Fucking how long was I on Max Fried for? For those listening, ignore. But I had the Max Fried graphic up the entire time there. I like the fact that the Martian continues to hit breaking balls. That's been a problem for him in his early career. He's been a dead red fastball hitter. But last year, another hit. Or last night, another hit. He has a double in the opposite field gap off of a slider. His expected slugging numbers against off speed and breaking this year have been solid. And his actual slugging percentage against breaking pitches this year is .412. So that's better. That's good. The more he adjusts to off speed and breaking, the better pitches he'll see. We mentioned count leverage last episode with him. If he starts hitting those breaking balls and off-speed pitches, he won't be behind as much. Pitchers will pitch him differently. But yeah, I like the fact that he's hitting the ball hard. That's a good sign for a young hitter. He's 81st percentile in hard hit percentage. It seems like when he's from the left side of the plate, he can really get to a pitch and he will hit a shot, a line drive. He's hitting a lot of doubles. He's been a line drive doubles machine. He's already got 7 doubles on the year. Usually young players with power will start out their careers by hitting a lot of doubles. And then as they grow and develop, they'll turn more into home runs as you start to lift the ball more. Machado's a guy I look at who did that. Robinson Cano did a lot of that earlier in his career. Jason Dominguez, who's wearing number 24, has that line drive power right now. He's not hitting a ton of home runs, but once he starts elevating the ball more, and you're going to see some of those 445-foot shots more. But I love the fact that he does hit a lot of doubles, and it's the left side of the plate, man. He's a really, really good left-handed hitter. I wish, or I hope, at some point this season the Yankees realize that and they go, all right, you know what? You don't have to switch hit, because like a lot of the casual baseball fans, a lot of the casual Yankees fans will look at the overall numbers when Dominguez steps up to the plate and think he's having a bad year, which is like I wish the Yes Network graphics would have, I wish they'd show the side that he was hitting from in the graphic. I feel like if they showed when Jason Dominguez steps up to the plate and there's a righty on the mound and he's batting lefty, I wish the graphic that they were showing was 315 batting average, 383 on base, 500 slug, 883 OPS instead of his overall numbers, because he would get much more appreciation and recognition for how great he's been as a left-handed hitter this year. So the overall numbers are kind of just, people aren't recognizing how good he's been left on right. And so I do wish we would just eventually abandon the switch hitting gimmick, because I don't think he's that. And then Volpe, who I'm going to tip my cap to, because I think Volpe was the best bat this series for the Yankees. He's been better lately after all the noise, after the struggles got very loud after last series. Well, in this series, he finds a way to get back on track. He goes 5 for 10, a couple of doubles and a homer, threw a walk in there for 1583 OPS, couple of RBIs, scored 3 runs. So he had a good series in 3 games against the Toronto Jays. Yeah, listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like this is Volpe turning into a superstar. I think we all agree at this point Anthony Volpe is never going to be the hitter the Yankees hyped him to be. He's not Bobby Witt. He's not Gunnar Henderson. He's none of those young up-and-coming shortstops. But can Anthony Volpe be a league average bat or slightly better? Can he be a guy who sits at 250 and gives you a 750 OPS consistently? Because if he can be that, I would take that as a win, because he's giving you elite shortstop. He's giving you really good base running. So if he's getting on base and he's using that speed, that's a win. Right now, on the season, listen, believe it or not, on the season, Volpe's numbers, 228 average, 770 OPS, 120 OPS plus. So you don't have to be high on his upside. I'm very weary of him too. But he is flashing some more tools this season. The extra base hits, the walks, the speed. You're seeing more of it. He has 5 home runs. He's got 7 doubles and 13 walks to an 11% walk rate with 3 stolen bases. So the on-base percentage this year is higher. The slugging percentage this year is higher, right? He's got a 325 on base. You'll take that. He's got a 446 slug. You'll take that. You need consistent hitting. You need the average to be a little bit better than that more consistently. His problem right now is the approach is just not consistent. He doesn't know what kind of approach he wants right now, right? Breaking balls away, he's trying to pull those pitches. You can't pull those, so he needs to be more selective on those pitches and wait for his pitch. Fastball's up in the zone, his swing gets a little too long sometimes. I think he needs to keep hitting where the ball is pitched. If the ball's away, shoot it to right field. But if you get a fastball middle, if you get a fastball in, pull that pitch. If you get a hanger in the middle of the plate, pull that pitch. Use left field. Use your speed. There's a lot of real estate out there. You could turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples. Drive the baseball with intent. Hit that ball down the line. You've got the legs. So if he figures out a more consistent approach, I still think he could be a league average bat. It's a lot. It's easy to say if he can figure out an approach. And that's the thing right now. I don't know. I don't know that Anthony Volpe can figure out a consistent approach. He might just be a light hitter. So that remains to be seen. But it is very early in the season, so if you're optimistic or if you're pessimistic, I would just say give it a second, and this is the make or break year. Ask me mid-season where Anthony Volpe is and all, and then we'll have a conversation about his potential and his upside if he can eventually just get to be, again, a league average bat. We'll have to see. But he's been better lately, and so that's nice to see. And that's it. As I said, we're not going to go a full hour. Up next for the Yanks, starting tonight, you got a 3-game set at Camden Yards against the Baltimore Orioles for 3. The Orioles have been struggling. Another tough loss for them yesterday. They are now 10-17. 10-17 on the season. That is dead last in the American League. I believe there's 6 games back. Let me check. Yeah, 6.5. There's 6.5 back right now at 10-17. Adley Rutschman's been bad. Jackson Holliday's been bad. Gunnar Henderson is having a bad year. So they're not really producing any offense. They'll hit some home runs, but not much else. Pitching-wise, they are struggling. I mean, they're dead last in pitching. Their rotation's been awful. Their pen, I feel like their pen's been the best part of their team. Outside of Perez. Perez has surrendered, I think, 14 runs and 11-something innings this year. But their bullpen, they do have a couple of guys who've been getting it done. But yeah, like the Orioles have been horrible. They've been very disappointing. A lot of people keep expecting them to take this next step, which, you got to spend. Like my favorite part about when small market teams struggle is when they blame the big scary markets like the Yankees and the East Coast teams who have money, instead of just being mad at their own wealthy owners who refuse to spend the millions that they have. Which is why I think, if anything, the MLB needs a salary floor, but we won't go there. Up next, we've got the Orioles for 3. That starts tonight at Camden Yards. So, folks, with that said, we're going to get to a break, get back, and then wrap this one up with our trivia question of the day, and then that will be that. Stay with us here on episode 853. The Yanks are in first place after 1 month. We'll be right back. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune into our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. Okay, welcome back to the show. Episode 853. We're going to wrap this up with our trivia question right here. And our question for this episode here: which former Yankee outfielder went 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs in a September 1992 game against the Orioles? All right. Which former Yankee outfielder went 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs in a September 1992 game against the Orioles? And you're going to get a hint because I feel like it's a difficult question. Your hint is that it was his first year with the team. All right. So one final time. Which former Yankee outfielder went 5 for 5 with 9 RBIs in a September 1992 game against the Orioles? And your hint is that it was his first year with the ball club. So that's all we have. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. The Yanks take 2 out of 3. They sweep the doubleheader. And they remain in first place after 1 month into their season. So I think everybody would accept that. It's been a solid, not great start, but a solid start considering everything. And hopefully they continue to build off of that going forward. So talk to you guys soon. Go Yankees. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.